In recent years, Florida, New York, and California have been experiencing a significant migration trend. Residents are either leaving or they're strongly considering leaving these states for various reasons, with home affordability being one of the top reasons thanks to record inflation levels. Rising interest rates and several other factors are also coming into play. In fact, this trend has only been amplified by the recent C-19 pandemic and could further accelerate if a new virus outbreak occurs. Now, you guys already know that there is a mysterious outbreak that has already taken place, and, well, you already know the details on that if you've been watching several of my previous videos. In fact, the recent mysterious undiagnosed outbreak of pneumonia in the Netherlands, coupled with the emergence of respiratory illnesses in China, India, and the UK, and several other countries, has only made matters worse and is literally causing, for the lack of a better term, heightened concern due to its potential to significantly impact the housing market in expensive areas like New York, California, Seattle, Nevada, and Florida. In fact, the outbreak that continues, the outbreak that remains quote-unquote undiagnosed, and many believe that the information received from China cannot be trusted. The spread of respiratory illnesses across multiple countries suggests a level of uncertainty regarding the nature and the severity of the underlying health issue. This uncertainty can create fear and anxiety among the general population, which may influence their decisions related to housing. But this is not to scare you guys. In fact, I actually have good news that I want to share with you. The good news is that we're actually seeing the federal government getting ahead of the housing affordability issues being experienced here in the United States. In fact, the Fed, or I should say the FHA, or the Federal Housing Administration, may be providing some folks a federal grant of, get this guys, up to $17,000. I'm not kidding. And they may be giving some people up to $17,000 to buy a home with, and get this, it doesn't have to be paid back. That is even bigger than a stimulus check. In fact, I was actually surprised at how many people may qualify for this particular program, but I've been warned by my source that this program will not last long. In fact, I'm going to be sharing all the details of this program later in this video, so make sure you guys watch this video until the end, because there are details in here you are not going to want to miss out on. So if you guys appreciate the information that I bring to you guys and the updates like this one, please take a second, drop a quick like for the video, and consider subscribing to the channel. And don't forget to share this video with a friend or a loved one who may be considering looking for a home, or someone who may be considering renting, as it may actually be cheaper to buy a home instead of renting. In recent years, several US states, including Florida, New York, and California, have witnessed significant population shifts driven by various factors. In Florida, rising housing prices, a soaring cost of living, escalating property insurance costs, concerns about property taxes increasing, declining quality of life have led some residents to leave the Sunshine State. Similarly, New York has also seen a steady exodus due to high housing costs, taxes, lengthy commutes to work, and of course the desire for less density, which has been exacerbated by the C-19 pandemic. Meanwhile, California's appeal has been challenged by an ongoing housing crisis, wildfires, tax burdens, and a homelessness crisis in major cities. Well, folks, I just had a very interesting conversation with one of the top real estate professionals in the state of Georgia that has just dropped a bombshell of information on me, and a very interesting federal housing program that I just had to share with you guys. I'm also going to go ahead and drop his contact information in the description down below this video in case you want to reach out to him. But let me go ahead and bring him on now, and don't forget to share this video with a friend. So I'm gonna go ahead and bring him on right now.
Yeah, so I don't know how long that program will be around, but there are a lot more grant programs and 100% financing options available again. So they're here for right now. So anybody that's looking for something like that, I would definitely recommend they don't wait around. Because gosh, the last time we had like a really good program, I feel like it was maybe like 2017, 2016.
Whoa.
It's been a long time since I've seen something like this. And you don't have to pay it back. So on this grant, I've got the information in front of me right now. You could do a maximum purchase price on FHA of $498,257. Nice. And the grant would be up to a maximum of $17,439 for the down payment. And that does not have to be paid back when you sell the property.
Unbelievable. That's like a free $17,000.
Yep. Yep.
Assuming you got to stay there a certain amount of time, right?
No, I don't believe so.
What?
Um,
Interesting.
you've got to have a 620 credit score. Uh,
Uh-huh.
and they also pay for your appraisal up to $700, which
Wow.
lately appraisals have been around 600 or so. So I doubt somebody's going to have an appraisal over $700. So that part should be free.
Okay.
There's no income restrictions because that's the other thing that gets you a lot. They'll have a great
Hmm.
program, but if you make over a certain amount of money, you don't qualify. You can make
Right.
any amount of money and qualify for this program. It's just you've got to meet one of those three criteria, which was first time home buyer,
Mhm.
retired, or be a state, federal, municipal employee, first responder, law enforcement, military, EMT, or healthcare. So
Wow.
it covers a
Is,
lot of people.
is this a federal program? I'm just trying to understand like who's
Well, it's
pushing
an
this.
FHA. So
Ah, yeah, okay. Okay, makes sense. Okay. Very interesting that they decided to bring out this program and we haven't seen anything like this since like you mentioned 2017.
and it's
So,
maybe even, I have people asking all the time for like nurses, firemen,
mhm.
police officers. There hasn't been anything for them in a very long time. It's,
Wow. Do you think that the higher interest rate environment is what's pushing them to come up with programs like this now?
I'm sure it is. I mean, a lot of people that have reached out to me today are people that, are having trouble qualifying and, in this market. So yeah, I think they're just trying to make home ownership more affordable.
Nice, nice. Um, what was it? Bank of America had an article not too long ago predicting like this major housing market shift coming as the month supply of homes resets.
Mhm.
What are you seeing in terms of like demand for like residential real estate? Like, are things holding steady? Are things picking up?
Well,
Like,
this is the thing. Like the article you're talking about, was that national?
I should have saved the link. I don't know. I have to look it up.
Because nationally speaking, that could be correct. But Atlanta, I feel like, is unique. We have the movie
Ah,
industry bringing a lot of people here. Since
mhm.
COVID, a lot of people have just started relocating in general. People up north are sick of the cold weather. So Atlanta's drawing a lot of people here. So we're not a normal market. And I can tell you too, just like my sales are obviously down this year because it's been a slow year. But when I talk to agents in other markets,
Mhm.
they're way off. I mean, like the
Like
production I
way
do,
down.
yes. Yeah.
Wow.
But I mean, like the amount of volume we did this year is still,
Mhm.
comparable to what we were doing before COVID.
Oh,
So
wow. Nice.
yeah, so it's not like we're way down. So I mean, a house I closed today that I posted earlier, one in Lawrenceville, that house had nine
Hmm.
offers on, and it sold
What? Oh, wow.
25,000 over asking, in the
How much over
500,
asking?
25,000 over, and it was in the 500.
Wow.
Um, so that's still, and then it was the highest sell ever in that neighborhood. So, depending on where you're at in Atlanta, we're still seeing bidding wars. I'm still seeing a lot of low inventory, but again, it depends. It's going to vary from city to city. But most of what I'm seeing in Gwinnett and North, it's still low inventory in general.
What would you say about the types of buyers that are engaging in these above ask offers and bidding wars? Like, are you seeing anything in particular about those kinds of buyers?
It varies. I mean, so like on that particular house, it was on a creek. And several of the buyers that bid on it were only looking for properties that had a creek on the property.
Got it.
So sometimes it can be something unique.
Hmm.
Some of the other buyers on that particular property that overbid that didn't get it had already
Right.
been outbid on other properties. I'm seeing a lot of buyers that have lost 3 or 4 homes, and so they're
Mm.
overbidding on everything trying to get something. So there's a lot of that going on. But I would say, as far as your buyer pool right now, though, you have a lot of first time buyers. A lot of your current homeowners are not moving because they don't want to lose their interest rates. The people that are moving are people that are relocating, people that are getting divorced, people that are getting married, people that are having more kids and need more space. But if somebody's in a house that's meeting their needs, they're not moving. And that's what's called part of our housing shortage is these sellers don't want to leave. The other thing that's happening are people are upgrading and they're keeping their previous home as a rental. So
I
the
was literally going to ask you about that.
yeah, so they're buying inventory up, but they're not replacing the inventory.
So would you say, in your opinion, there's way more people who are looking to upgrade that are now considering to rent their previous homes than they would have, say, pre-COVID?
Oh, definitely. Because I mean, if you're say your primary residence has a 2.75% interest rate, that
And
rate's
we do.
gone when you sell it. So
Hmm.
you and what people are doing, the house they want to upgrade on that they're going to pay, probably around 7% on the rate. Well, part
Right.
of how they're taking or they're helping the blow on that by making it up on keeping the previous home as a rental because with that low interest rate, they're going to have some really good rental income on that, and that's going to offset the higher rate on the new house.
Wow. So their old home, which is now creating some form of passive income, is subsidizing the new home purchase.
Right.
Wow. I haven't heard anyone talk about that. I appreciate you sharing that information.
Well, and anybody who has the funds or the means to buy another house and not sell their current house if they have a low rate, they'd be
Mhm.
crazy not to.
Got
Unless
it.
they're moving because of some issue with the house, if it has a structural issue, mold
Hmm.
issues, drainage, then obviously you don't want to keep that as a rental property. But if it's a good house at a low rate and you can keep it, it's a great time to do that.
Brilliant. Wow. So with that being said, what are your thoughts on the rental market? Like, do you see rents going down? Are rents going to hold steady or go up?
Rents have already gone down a little bit. There's too
Okay.
many rentals out there, but again, it depends on where you're at. And it's one of
Hmm.
those things like if you were going to buy rental property right now, yes, I think you should buy rental property. Um, but you need to be careful where you're buying. When you're buying rental property, you want to make sure it's a subdivision that's not already saturated or a school district that's got too many rentals. So you want to look at that. But people buying rental property right now, you need to either be paying cash or putting a lot down, like 50%. Because in most situations, if you're doing a normal 20-25% down, you may not be cash flowing at the current
Mm.
interest rates.
So can I ask you some? Uh, if you're having to put so much more down for a rental property, in order to make it cash flow, you may have to put a lot more down. Does that mean that it's maybe a bad deal and you should pass on it, or is it just really the state of the market and it's like, hey, it's prices aren't going to go any lower. If you want in, you're going to have to pay. Like, what's your take on that?
Well, this is the thing. You're going to be making it up in the long run because rents are going to continue to go up. They've leveled out right now and gone down a little bit, but they'll go up over time. But you're also going to be making money on the property as the property appreciates. So you're still putting your money in an appreciating asset. But you're going to need to put more down to cash flow. And you don't necessarily need to cash flow, but you need to be at least breaking even. You don't want to buy a property where, like, say, you're paying a couple $100 a month to run it after collecting the rent.
It's kind of like buying a bill. Like, I don't want to do that.
No.
All right. Wow, that's pretty interesting. Well, number one, congratulations on being the number one Remax Legends for 2023. You hit some pretty significant milestones, even though you say your number is a little bit lower than last year. But I mean, I just want to give you a huge pat on the back. Fourth in Metro Atlanta for Remax and 10th, number 10 in the state of Georgia for Remax. Like, those are not that everyone's not doing that. So
Right.
those are some amazing numbers if you ask me.
Right. And we were the same numbers last year too, kind of for where we were on the state and all. So it just kind of shows you that we're consistent. Things are down, but we're still kind of in the same spot, where we would have been. There are some agents who've just gotten, I guess, sort of depressed and lost their way and things are really down. I try not to think about it. I just do the same thing every day. I get up and work and, you know, go about my day and not worry about where we're at on the numbers or what anybody else is doing. And, you know, the people who get consumed with that, I think it just draws them down when they're checking numbers daily and checking what everybody else is doing.
That's some solid advice. Like, do you subscribe to getting up at like 5 o'clock in the morning, or are you like more of a later?
Definitely not. I mean, this morning I got up after 9. Um,
Okay.
but I'm up late because, you know, a lot of people want to meet or talk after they get off work, especially on listings, or, you know, if an offer comes in on their house during the day, they can't talk at work. So I end up working a lot later. So typically I'll work sometimes till 11 or 12 at night. So I don't get up early. And of course, the thing is with real estate too, nobody's calling me at 7 or 8. They're busy getting their own day started with their job. So we usually get busier around lunchtime when people have a break from
Fair
work.
enough.
So,
Fair enough. Okay. Um, I think I saw, but well, by the way, for our viewers, who may want to get in contact with you, do you have any socials? Like, what's the best way to contact you if my viewers want to get in contact with you or your
well,
team?
my cell phone, of course, they can call or text me, which is 770-365-8327. They can see our whole team, visit our website at jasonsellsmore.com. And that's
Okay.
more like the way I spell my last name, Moore. And then, of course, we are on Sellsmore team is on Facebook and Instagram as well. And we do
Perfect.
check Messenger on the business pages in Instagram and Facebook.
Perfect. Perfect. All right. Awesome. And I'll make sure to leave all the details, all your contacts in the description down below of this video for anyone who wants to reach out to Jason. Um, so going into I guess going into 2024, a lot of economists have been talking about a recession or the direction of the economy, interest rates, the Fed's kind of been on pause, if I remember the last few sessions that they've had. So, but I guess what's your take on going into 2024? Do you think that 2024 will see more real estate appreciation? What do you think?
So I think we're at the top on the appreciation. So the next several years, I think you're going to see a return to the normal like 3% appreciation that was normal before COVID.
So we can't
So
expect to double our home prices like every 18 months anymore?
no, no, that's over. But at the same time, I do expect them to keep going up, but at a normal rate. And you know, if you start doing a lot of research and really start looking at graphs,
Okay.
you know, there's graphs out there that will show, even though we've had this crazy appreciation, we're back on
Mhm.
par with where we would have been if we hadn't had the downturn.
Wow. Wow. Okay.
So it's really
Interesting.
just like things have kind of just realigned where, you know, where things should be. So back to a normal 3%. And again, like before, you could see people in a normal market that might have 5, 8% on the right deal. So I'm not saying somebody's not going to make more than 3, but it's going to
Right.
depend on the house, the area, the
Mhm.
deal they got. But the 20, 30%, that's over.
Oh
That's
man.
Yeah, you're not going to see any more of that. Interest rates, so the conferences I've been going to, I've been seeing predictions of like mid fives for summer of next year.
Oh wow. So a drastic pullback on the interest rates.
Yeah, so that's what we're hoping. And then they're, you know, and it's too far to tell, but you know, their prediction is that maybe by 2025 summer we might see high fours, and
Oh
then
wow.
you know, if just depending on how things go.
So assuming we get those lower interest rates, obviously, I'm not holding you to it. Nothing's guaranteed, and Jerome Powell may wake up on the wrong side of the bed and decide to hike rates anyway.
Right.
um, um, do you feel like for the average person who has been sitting on the sidelines, they feel like they've missed the boat. Housing prices are double, maybe even more than that in some areas. Interest rates are at least double, if not triple,
Mhm.
from their lows. Do you feel like today, 2024 to 2025, do you feel like the average person is better off renting or buying a home, even in the high price high real estate price and high interest rate environment?
I don't think prices are going down. I mean, if they want to buy a house, they're better off buying now and refinancing later when rates come down.
Got it.
Because I've seen this even before COVID, where I
Hmm.
have people that are too picky and they'll look for like a year, and then
Uh-huh.
finally what they're looking for goes up so much in value that they're just priced out of the market
Oh
completely.
man, that's
And
got
then
to be
they end up
painful.
just then they're just stuck renting. So yeah, I think buying any house is better than being stuck leasing where you might miss your opportunity to be a homeowner.
So, would you say it makes more sense to possibly buy a home that's less than what you really want, as opposed to continuing to rent?
Right. Well, yeah, I think with rent,
Mhm.
rates can continue to go up. You're also not guaranteed how long you can stay there. The landlord could decide they don't want to renew and want to sell the property. Other thing, you're out of control on that. So you could have unexpected moving expenses if you have to move sooner than you want to.
Right. True. Good. Great
And
points.
you can't really
Yeah, I
make it
think.
your own. It's not like you can go in and change colors and change
Mm,
flooring and do upgrades. So you're
yeah.
restricted on that.
Yeah. Interesting points you bring up. Wow. Well, Jason, it has been an absolute pleasure hanging out with you, and I really appreciate you sharing your expertise and your insights with us today. Um, just a quick recap, guys. I'm going to leave Jason Moore's contact information down below in this video description and in the pinned comments. So if you want to reach out to Jason Moore or his team, you'll be able to do so. Jason, it has been an absolute pleasure, and thanks for meeting up with me on such short notice today.
Sure. Yeah. Hopefully we can get some people in some of these houses with no money down. Take
Heck
advantage of
yeah.
the free money. That's the only free money out there right now.
Seriously, no more stimulus checks.
Right. So yeah, so come get a free down payment instead.
Sweet. Awesome. Will do. Well, I'll make sure that everyone gets your contact info, and I hope to have you on again soon.
Okay. All right. Well, I appreciate it. Have a good weekend.